Hello guys, and welcome to our last tutorial. Finally, this little tiny piece of software, if I can call it like this, give you a lot of headache. Anyway, like I promised you in the last tutorial, we were going to talk today about a new signal which is called group changed. And this signal I'm going to show you today a way how you can catch it and how you can work with it. But before we proceed, I want to tell you that I reduced the code a little bit just to be much easier to be understood now when we are working with this signal. So basically we have 3 buttons, 1, 2 and 3 here. Those 3 buttons, we are touching them, and then we are calling the toggle signal. Once that we call this signal, basically our program looks like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, so these 3 buttons here and so on. Okay, now we are going to talk a little bit about change signal property. Let's go to signals. So we are basically here on the GtkRadioButton widget. We are clicking on the signal, we are clicking on the group change, and says emitted when the group of radio button that a radio button belongs to changes. This is emitted when a radio button switches from being alone to being part of a group of 2 or more buttons, or vice versa, and vice versa, and when a button is moved from one group of 2 or more buttons to a different one, but not when the composition of the group that the button belongs to changes. A little bit complicated with these manuals. So anyway, the parameters are the button, which means the button which receives the signal. In our case, it is a button which we are going to create in a moment, and which has no default group where it belongs to, and user data is the data used when the signal handler was connected. So basically it's just a regular user function. Okay, so let's see, before we move, what changes we can apply to our program so that we can work with it. So first of all, let's create a button. I don't know, let's say, let's give it a crazy name. You see, I choose to give it I am an alone radio button. Okay, so having this button we can create it. So we are going to create it here, and it is called I am alone radio button, which is called new with level from widget. Now we are going to create a new one with label, which is enough for us because it doesn't belong to any group. So as first parameter will be null, because this radio button basically doesn't belong to no one. And once that we have it, we are going to attach it. So this means we are going to put it on the position 0 left top 3. And now that we have it, let's run a little bit with the program and see what happens. And says variable set but not used. So why? We have just okay, because we didn't use it how we should use. Okay, let me arrange a little bit here this part. Let me run again. As you can see, works fine. Just some changes here, because this is not the real, this is I am an alone radio button. Looks better now. Let's see. So basically we have, this is the radio button, this is the radio button 2, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, this one is selected, so no matter what I'm doing here, this one doesn't belong to this group. So we are going to fix this now, and once that we send this radio button to this group, then we will can have them work together. So how we will do it? This will be, let's say, let's drop the radio 3 signal because we are going to need it. So now it is time to work with the group change signal. So this means now we are going to create a new signal, which we are going to make some changes. So G signal connect, where we are going to pass this time the radio 3. Let me copy these things here for a moment, because okay, so the first is the radio 3. On the radio 3 button we need to catch the toggle button, and then we need to create a function. Let's call it well, no, we are working with this function better, because it should be much easier. So this means I am alone button will be passed here. Now let us create some changes here. This function needs another GTK radio button, so needs another pointer, our G data pointer. Once that we have it here, that we have the second button, we are going to set the group property, because it's the faster way, which I'm thinking now. Object G object set. So we are saying that on the I am alone radio button, so on this button set the group of the radio button, and of course we are ending our story with null. So what are we doing now? When the radio button 3 it will be clicked or toggled, it will be the toggle function called, and then it will be passed the fourth button which we created now to this function. And once that we are passing it here, we are basically setting the group. Of course we can make some checks to be sure that it is about only about this button. You can create another function, or you can get the button like we are find it here, and if the button is active, then we are setting basically this story. And so I will just let it for a moment here, and once that we have it, then we can basically change the group. So let's see what's the story with what we are doing here, and say G signal connect. Okay, we have an L, we forgot an L here. Let's see if it works. We have those 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons here. Basically these buttons here, they are not connected, only those two. If I'm clicking here, nothing happens. If I'm clicking here, now those, they are belonging together, so this means it works. So if this works, let's create now let's catch now the changed group signal. I will copy this one here, because we will need it now to work with, and I'm going to say catch the group changed signal, so this one, when basically changes when on this button the group is changed, then catch this signal and call the group changed callback. So call this function for me, and of course, because we are working with G signal connect swap, we are going basically to let me make it a little bit cleaner, so that looks better. Okay, now let's create this function. It will be very easy to create it. Void group change. Okay, and here we'll send GTK radio button, our button. Of course we are not working with the button now, so we are going to cast it. Void radio button, and then we're going to set g print the group of, let's call it here to can print it. Okay, was changed. Okay, so now we created a group change callback. Once that this function will be called, it will be already button. Let's fix this here. Once this group change callback function will be called, it will be printed this message that says the group of I am alone radio button was changed, which at least it should do this thing. Let's see. So basically we are playing here, and now I'm going to hit the up button here and says the group of I am an alone radio button was changed. So let me let me comment out this print here, because we are not interested now, so that you can see better. So nothing works here. Now I click here and the group is changing. So now we are basically, as you can see, have those three buttons together connected, so it works the way we are trying to work with it. And basically this is how you catch that signal, and this is how you are working with it. And now you see, now I'm instead of working with a flag, because now we don't need it, so I'm drop the flag now function variable. So basically now our toggle callback function looks like this, and this function what does, I'm going to explain again. It will be call it and catch it of that button, the signal, and once the signal it is catched, then it's called with these two parameters. The first one is our radio button where the signal was catched, and the second one was the button which we are passing through this function here, you see, and we are passing it. Once that we call this function, and after we pass it, we said we're retrieving the group of the radio button which the radio 3 belongs to, and this radio button in this example. And once that we have that linked list, we are iterating through this linked list, and we're saying if group is not null, so if there is a group 1, then check if the toggle button get active group data, and group data it is the same with radio button, then call the G object set I am an alone radio button, and set the group of radio button to it, and then break. If not, then move to the next one and see again if there is something for us. And once that you find it and it is there, break it and leave the function. So as you can see, guys, this is the way how you handle situation like when you have more groups and you need to change the group of one button with the group of another button, like here, because now we have a group of 3 buttons here, and we have another one here which is only one button. And even if there are more, it's not important, because even if there are more, we are saying take this button and link it to this group. so that they are communicating together. So this is basically what this program does. So now once that I'm clicking here, as you can see, says the group of I am alone radio button was changed, and now they are all linked together the way they are and they should. Okay, so that being said, I think that's all about the GTK radio button widget. I think we learned a lot of information. I mean, I'm talking about 7 videos with a lot of time. It is more than 1 hour, I think. I don't know, maybe 2. I know how much time I need for this tiny little small widget to show you which kind of things you can do with this one. And now we know that we know how to apply the functions. I'm saying again, and of course we know how to set or change some properties to the radio button which we were creating, and then we saw how we can apply CSS, and of course we saw signals which we were working with on this radio button widget. Okay, so that being said, I think I will put the whole code in my GitHub account. You can find it there. Just search for it, and once that you find it and have it, you can go through all this crazy text here, and then you will understand it maybe better than in a video, because you then can make some changes to your program so that it can apply to your desire, if I can say it like that. Okay, again, thanks you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.